Hello gardeners, I hope your day is going great. It's about to get better. On this episode of Sustainable Stace, we're going to talk everything garlic, especially how to plant it and when to plant it, and addressing all the key questions that people often ask me so that you're guaranteed a great harvest every season. Here we go.
I'm Stace. For me, healthy food and sustainability are totally connected. You can grow it yourself. Nature is generous.
Welcome back to this episode, guys, of Sustainable Stace. We're talking all about garlic today, especially how to plant it and when to plant it, because there's a lot of questions about should I plant it in fall, should I plant it in spring, and the answer is yes, depending on where you live and how cold it gets in winter. This is what a bed with 400 head of garlic look like in it, which means 400 cloves got planted in here. They were all planted on the same day in October, and they've gone through winter. The ones that are on your right, they're a different variety, so they're looking a little smaller right now, and the ones on your left, again, a different variety, so they're looking a little taller. But these guys here that look short, they're slow to start, but they'll catch up quickly. All planted on the same day in October, and it's March right now. So November, December, January, February, March, they've been in the ground for 5 months, and it's probably about 3.5 more months until they're ready to harvest. Because the typical life cycle for garlic is that from when you plant a dry clove till when you harvest a mature head is 8 to 9 months. Now, as I've mentioned already, this video is primarily about how to plant and when to plant garlic. So if you're thinking about harvesting garlic or storing garlic, I do have another video about that. It's on the same channel for Sustainable Stace. It's how to harvest and store garlic. But this is specifically about planting, spacing, and timing and things like that. Now, this garden bed, it's about 6 or 7 meters long, so a bit over 20 feet, and it's a bit over a meter wide, about 3.5 feet wide, and it's got, as you saw earlier, about 400 head of garlic in it. I grew about 1,000 a year. The very biggest, healthiest, best looking ones are the ones I actually plant for next year, so I save them until planting time in October. The medium-sized ones are the ones that I sell, and the ones that are smallest are the ones that I use to feed our family, because even the smallest ones are still the size of a golf ball or bigger. So a few different varieties, planted in October, harvested in June or July. But if you get really cold winters, like way colder than I get, like in Celsius -10 or colder for sustained periods of time, your garlic may not survive a winter while it's getting ready to grow into the spring. And so for people who live in especially cold climates, you'll want to wait until spring to plant. Now, you should check your growing zone and decide based on what your zone is whether garlic can be planted in fall or whether you should wait till spring when the strong frosts pass and the snow melted, and then it's time to go. Now, this garlic was only a little tiny bit of baby garlic when the snow came here, and we had up to about a foot, about 30 centimeters of garlic, and it stayed on top of the garlic bed for weeks, and the garlic does fine with that because it never got colder than Celsius, about -5. And so it survived that just fine. Now, you might also be wondering about, do you have to have a huge amount of space? Not at all. You can plant garlic in containers. Containers work just as well as a raised bed. The important thing is that you have to have healthy soil that's well drained. And if you've got healthy, well drained soil and you've prepared it properly, your next steps to garlic is simply pull off your cloves from your head and put them and cover them in the soil. If the spacing is right, so that there's at least enough for them to get the size of a fist, they may not get that big, but give them that much space, then you know they're gonna work out and they're gonna meet their full genetic potential and grow to maximum size. You don't wanna go to the trouble of planting that beautiful garlic in that gorgeous soil in a container or in a raised bed and put them too tight together so that they're so tightly spaced, they can't really grow to their full potential. So that makes sense, right? I think we've covered that. So let's get on to the actual planting. Now, I shot some footage wearing the same shirt in fall when I planted a bed of garlic, and there I show you about breaking up the cloves, how to orient the cloves when you plant them, the spacing and the way that I do it so that you can see every step of it. And if that's a little bit boring for you, just come back at the close of that planting phase and I'll tell you a few more things, because I know it's become very popular. A lot of YouTube videos out there about people who are sprouting heads of garlic, whole heads, not just one clove, but the whole head intact. They sprout it in water for a few weeks and then they break apart the cloves and they put it out in the garden. Now, that may work, but I think there's a real problem to it, and I'll explain that to you later when we come back after the planting, and I'll explain to you why that could be a danger for your garlic when you sprout it in water and then bring it to your garden. Now, I've just finished planting the side here with the soft neck. Now I'm going to do the hard neck. And remember, this is a 4-meter bed. Wow, look at this worm that just came up to say hello. This is a 4-meter long bed, and in that bed I just got 58 cloves planted. So that'll be 58 heads of garlic coming up. And I'm just going to show you what I do. This isn't a perfectly straight line, but I'm not going to let the line define where I go exactly. So you can see where I am. All I'm doing is taking the end that's going to have the root to the bottom, the end that's going to have a sprout to go to the top, and I'm planting them pretending and knowing that they're going to become the size of large golf balls, small baseballs. So I'm trying to create enough space for basically a fist, a decent sized fist to go between the cloves, so that as the cloves size up to become heads, they're going to have enough room to become adults. I want to get them their full depth into the soil so that they have lots of room to grow, and they'll be nicely covered up in the coldness of the winter when things start to freeze. So I'm pressing them right into the soil. So I've already got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 cloves planted just like that. So I'm just going to cruise along here and do this while the camera runs, and you can see what happens. It doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line. And then once I've got all the cloves in, then I'll just cover them up with a bit more soil, making sure that, you know, they're nicely nestled in for the winter. It's really simple, isn't it, planting garlic? Like, this is going to take me, because I did the prep before I turned on the camera, this is going to take me less than 10 minutes to plant over 100 head of garlic. It doesn't take much to go and say to your friends, hey, I just planted 100 head of garlic today. They're like, oh my goodness. That means that for your family, you'd have 2 heads of garlic every week of the year with 100 heads. So that might be enough to keep your family in garlic for the whole season, and you can plant it in 2 rows in a 4-meter bed. I'll give you another reason for why I'm doing 2 varieties, the soft neck and the hard neck. There's always a chance when you're growing anything, and you've probably already learned this, that not everything will succeed to the same degree. So why not just increase your odds of success by finding 2 great strains of seed, in this case a hard neck and a soft neck variety, and planting both? Your chances of success, I think, will be improved. It's basically a risk management decision that you're making to grow 2 varieties. Ooh, that one I put in upside down. Got to turn you around, baby. And these heads are so big that it's incredibly easy to get kids to help out, just pushing heads of garlic into the ground like this. We're just going to finish up here. We're almost done. And then we're going to count how many we have. This is quite exciting because it takes so little time to have this amazing promise. I've never had garlic fail. Sometimes it'll get rust as it comes close to ripening time. That doesn't usually destroy the harvest in any way. Always remember, as per some of my other Sustainable Stace videos, that you can harvest scapes before it's time to harvest the cloves, and that'll give you something like a garlic flavored green onion to enjoy in like late spring, early summer. Okay, we're down to our last 2 cloves right here at this end, and I'm going to count quickly what we have. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 4, 6, 8, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, 60, 62. 62, and I got 58 there. So 120 cloves of garlic, which will be 120 heads of garlic. Hip, hip, hooray. And I suggest that in spring, as things warm up, if you planted your garlic in the winter, you get an all-purpose fertilizer and get between your bulbs with some nutrition. I have a fantastic, simple recipe on my YouTube channel called 5-Minute Fertilizer. Just put that between all the bulbs, and they're going to grow as big as they possibly can with that good nutrition. If you live in a place that acidifies over the winter, you might also want to add a little bit of lime to balance the pH of your soil. And that garlic is going to hit the mark. It's going to be a raving success. I had promised you guys that when you were done seeing the planting on spacing and such that I recorded in the fall, that I'd come back to you and explain to you some of the potential challenges of those YouTube video ideas of sprouting a whole head of garlic. And here's what I think the main problem is. A person who's feeling like they're running out of time and they have to accelerate the growing season for their garlic and tries to save maybe 1 week or 10 days of sprouting it in a watery environment is probably not going to be sprouting it in the exact same conditions as that is that garlic's going to be transplanted into. Now remember, the clove is a seed, and seeds are very intelligent. They will wait to start absorbing moisture and sprouting and starting their life cycle when they believe the conditions are optimal. So if you give it a false sense of conditions and it sprouts in water and takes off really quick and you think you're saving time, and then you take that fresh sprouted garlic bundle, you pull all the cloves apart with these big green shoots, which are delicate and fragile, and you put them into cold soil where maybe the frost is going to come again or another snow is going to come again, it's going to shock the system so strongly on that little new start that I think it's not going to survive. Just plant the garlic clove at the time when your conditions are right. That garlic will start to grow on its own, whether it's in fall because you've got a fairly mild winter like I do, or if it's in spring because you tend to have harsh and strong winters. Just check out the right growing zone situation for yourself and that'll work out great. Now I want to just mention to you about this. I've got these fall plantings that I grew last year. There's different types of chard and there's kale, and then all in amongst it where I had grown potatoes last season, once I harvested my potatoes up, I planted my garlic. And this is something I always do. I take advantage of all my space, that rather than growing more and more beds, I just integrate my crops. So I'll keep on harvesting chard and kale from this bed while the garlic gradually sizes up, and then I'll probably, even because this space is available, be able to plant a few other leafy greens like lettuce or spinach or tatsoi in the spring as things warm up a little better, because it's still 2 months before I can plant seeds outside, but the garlic is doing just great and it's intercropped and I didn't miss out on using all of my potential space in the garden. This is a really good way of seeing what garlic does naturally if you forget to harvest ahead, or in this case I missed it. So this is a full head of garlic which should have been harvested last summer, fall. I missed it, and so every single clove has sprouted on its own. I'm just going to dig it up and let's see what it looks like, so that you can see every single clove has got incredible root development. We'll bring that in a little closer and take a peek at it, okay? So this is definitely the up close and personal with garlic. This is the one I just dug out of the ground. You can see all the roots, and it's probably partly weeds and partly garlic, but every single one of these are viable cloves if you come into springtime and you want to plant garlic. Now here is a start and it's ready to go. And this is from one head. Let's look at how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think it maybe was 2 heads, but they look perfectly proportional if you look at them from that angle. 16 cloves, and every one of them now, if we separate them all out, tease them out, keep the roots intact and are nice to them, we can put each one of these in the soil, plant them about 6 inches or like 15 centimeters apart, and each one can become its own complete head of garlic. So when you miss one harvesting in summer or fall, you can find it in spring, lift it up, separate it out, tease out the roots, and you still can plant. You haven't missed your opportunity. Yes, indeed, garlic is a hoot to grow. It's largely pest proof, it's vigorous, it's got a lot of life force in it, and I trust that this video has covered all the key questions you needed answered on how to plant it, when to plant it, and everything that relates to getting a really great garlic harvest at your place. Whether it's in containers or raised beds, I guarantee if you follow the tips we've shared in this Sustainable Stace video, you're gonna have success. Thanks a lot for coming along for the ride, guys. If you've been watching this video on YouTube, I just wanna ask you please to subscribe to the channel. I'll keep on giving you more resources by video that are hopeful, helpful, and healthy. Till next time. I bet that we both agree that moving from being veggie curious to veggie confident can be quite an epic journey. I've made so many mistakes over the 25 or so years that I've been organic gardening. I've learned a lot that I can pass along to others so that you can avoid many of my pitfalls. I have this complete garden system in a hyper-productive small space. It's an amazing experience, a complete garden system, and it takes people through every step of the journey, from setting up their own garden to having an amazing harvest and planting right through the seasons. It's called getbackyardabundance.com, and perhaps you and perhaps someone you love would take great advantage in a wonderful year-long tutorial called getbackyardabundance.com. Please check it out.